Hey everybody, come on in. This is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We're going to start in just a minute. I give you a little time to get in, get settled, like and share, invite your friends. Plus it gives me time to say hi to everybody who's here. Nissa, hey. Hey Paul, top fan. Hey Jennifer. What happened? Oh, he was impeached? My son's birthday today. Congratulations, guys. I didn't even know he was impeached. I've been getting ready for this video. He was impeached? Right on. That's fantastic news. So good to see everybody here. We're going to get into some stuff. Apparently, there's some stuff that you guys can teach me. I am behind on some news, apparently. So we'll get into that even, too. I'll bring up some news and inform myself during this little video. But sorry we're late, guys. I want to apologize for that and explain what happened. We had some technical difficulties, and for reasons outside of my control, I had to completely reboot everything just to try to get it all going. Because right when I tried to go live, everything went to shit and nothing would work. So I had to start over completely from the beginning. And that's where we're at. So that's why we're late. You know, we were supposed to start at 8, and we had a scheduled post, and I apologize to everyone who set a reminder. But that's the thing with technology. Everything that can go wrong literally will go wrong, and it just happens that way. But what this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and this is a little show that I made up where we talk about conspiracies. And I usually make a video. I made a video for you guys tonight. We're going to watch that video, and then we're going to talk about the video and everything to do with that and anything else that you guys want to get into. So tonight's video is going to be on the Jasons. The Jasons are a secret society that you may not have heard about before. So we're going to get into that and break it down and let you know what the Jasons are about in the short video that I made for you guys, and then we'll get into it a little bit more afterwards and deeper if you have anything you want to ask or talk about the Jasons. But I think it's really interesting. Oh, hold on. Paul says President Pence is in Grand Rapids tonight. Hold on. I got to find out what's going on. So during the video, I am going to find out what's happening in reality that I missed in the course of this day, because I've been getting ready for this video and plugging myself full of information on the Jasons and UFOs and aliens and all the stuff we're going to talk about. So I'm going to bring up the video. That's what we do on here is I make a video for you guys and then we watch it. It's pretty simple. It's a conspiracy video, but this is interesting. I'm really into this one. I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys will be excited about it too, even though I'm embarrassing myself by not knowing that we have a President Pence. That is, I'm not excited though, because I didn't care. You know, I wasn't paying any attention to the impeachment process because I did not care. But that's crazy. That's crazy. So I got to look into that. I'm going to bring up the video, and as soon as my computer cooperates with me, that is, and we're going to check this out, and I'm going to find out what's going on. That's insane. What happened? Somebody quickly tell me, or post a link, post something that I can look at during the video. That just goes to show you when you get tunnel vision and you get caught up on one thing, the whole world goes on around you and you don't even notice it. But come on in and like and share. We're going to start the video in just a second. I'm bringing it up right now as soon as I get it to cooperate with me. My technology is not cooperating today. I did not have any trouble earlier, but since it's just not doing what I need for it to do. Jennifer says that's what I was asking. Oh, about President Pence. No, I'm in the dark, so I'm going to inform myself while the video plays. But I got it ready. We're going to bring the film strip in. And I made a video for you guys on the Jasons, and we're going to watch that real quick. And then afterwards, we're going to hang out like always, talk about whatever you want. Did you know that in 1952, President Eisenhower commissioned a secret society of the country's top scientists to be formed, whose sole purpose would be to go through all of the facts, evidence, and technology that exists to find out the truth about aliens and UFOs? Welcome back to Conspiracy Theories and Chill. On this episode, we are going to look into the Jasons, a secret society of the greatest scientific minds in the country that was formed to acquire all the information possible about aliens and UFOs and then give recommendations to the government about extraterrestrial life as well as plans for potential alien invasions and encounters. Originally called Project Sunrise when it was created by Eisenhower, the name is said to have later been changed to Jason, as a reference to the story of Jason and the Golden Fleece. The name change is cutely attributed to a wife of a founding member, thinking that Project Sunrise was too plain and liking the symbolism of Jason better. The Jasons are known by many subnames to add to the layers of secrecy and confusion surrounding them, such as the Jason Group, Jason Society, as well as the Jason Scholars. The only consistent, actually, is Jason, always spelled with all caps in all known names for this secret group. Now, the founding members of the Jasons included many members of the famous Manhattan Project, which brought together almost every leading physicist in the nation to build the atomic bomb secretly during World War II. The Jasons are said to be made up of mostly theoretical physicists and are supposed to be the most elite gathering of scientific minds in the United States. As a matter of fact, in 1987, the membership of the Jasons is said to have included 4 Nobel Prize winners. Today, the Jasons continue to offer scientific help that the government cannot find anywhere else. As a result, the Jasons are probably the only group of scientists in the United States that know the true state of the highest technology that actually exists. The Jasons are shrouded in what, on the surface, appears to be unnecessary secrecy. The group refuses to release its membership list. None of the members of the group list Jason membership on their official resumes. And the entire group is compartmentalized and secret. When it was began, there were supposedly 32 official Jasons, but in that 32, the top 12 were actually said to be in control. These 12 were referred to as MJ-12, or the Majestic 12. But working completely behind the scenes, the Jasons have guided the nation's most important security decisions. Now, these have included, but are not limited to, Star Wars, submarine warfare, and predictions about the greenhouse effect. The Jasons are also the ones that were responsible for the military recommendations known as Alternative 1, Alternative 2, and Alternative 3 that were put in place to deal with some possible alien-induced catastrophe that might threaten the Earth. Alternative 1 was to use nuclear devices to blast holes in the stratosphere from which the heat and pollution could escape into space. This was attempted during Operation High Jump. Alternative 2 was to build a vast network of underground cities and tunnels in which a select representation of all cultures and occupations would survive and carry on the human race. The rest of humanity would be left to fend for themselves on the surface of the planet. Now, this is currently in place. Alternative 3 was to exploit alien and conventional technology in order for a select few to leave the Earth and establish colonies on the Moon and Mars. Now, Alternative 1 and Alternative 2 have already been done. Is Alternative 3 in play as well? Well, for now, let's just take a deeper look into the Jasons themselves. This secret society is considered to be at the very top of the Illuminati. They are incredibly secret, as we said, but the Jasons have never had an internal leak in their entire existence. The only official reference to the Jasons is a mention of Jason Group in the declassified Pentagon Papers. The Jasons are a collection of the top scientific minds in the country, with ties and influences on all government entities, as well as the heavily influential Council on Foreign Relations, which itself is said to have had 5 members in the original group of 32 Jasons. The hits just keep coming with red flags of the Jasons' connections to the Illuminati, don't they? Another one that interests me, and there are many, is the numerology. The Illuminati love numerology, and a big number for them, as we know, is 33. And 32 Jasons reporting to one president just happens to be 33. From this point on in the discussion, most of what we're going to talk about is only speculation. But the most important thing here, as far as I'm concerned, is that the Jasons themselves are real. As a matter of fact, in March of this year, funding was almost cut to the Jasons. The Department of Defense announced March 29th that funding was going to be cut to the Jasons, but they have since received a temporary reprieve. That was an interesting find in my research for this story. That particular piece, finding that particular piece, is the reason that I had to make this video. I was just looking into the Jasons, actually in reference to something else, for a different video having to do with UFOs. But this brought me into the Jasons, looking at the Jasons themselves, because this proved that the Jasons are real. Now, I had heard about the Jasons before from William Cooper and other UFO researchers and truthers, but it was finding that particular story about the Department of Defense cutting the funding that piqued my interest in the Jasons. You know, everyone painted William Cooper as crazy when he spoke of the Jasons. And even in the research for this video, I came across many examples of his name being slandered, but they're real. The Jasons are real, and Bill was right all along. Now, also revealed in that same story, the membership in this secret society has apparently grown over the years and is said to now include 65 secret members. The Jasons themselves have a main operation or storefront with a board of directors, but the Jason members are all secret. And in this funding report that was released, it listed 65 members. But I think it's more like the cockroach theory. And what that is something that I made up. I think I made it up. But when you see one cockroach turn on the light, you see one, there's hundreds. So they say there was 65. Who knows how many there really are? Who knows how many people they really have control over? But in 59 years, a group with 65 members that are secret has never had a single leak. And the government supposedly can't keep a secret. Now, I think people drastically underestimate the government and the powers that be's ability to keep things secret when they want to. You know, it's been said that the technology that the government actually has is 50 years ahead of what we know about, and people don't blink an eye at that. Think about what that would mean for just a second. What would your cell phone look like to someone in 1969? It would look like magic. And that's what the true technology of the government would look like to us. Magic. And there exists a top secret, government-funded, secret society of top scientists that are in control of all that technology and knowledge, and in control of keeping it secret. That, my friends, is how you control a narrative. You get the top scientific minds into a secret society, and then you pay these great thinkers with what they crave the most: information. and access to technology that is beyond our wildest imaginations. Then you swear them to secrecy and get them in line with your particular views and beliefs, and then have them spread those views and beliefs among the scientific community. Think of the power of that. A huge scientific conspiracy placed in high power situations, able to control what gets researched and what doesn't, what gets funded and what doesn't, what gets supported and what doesn't, and especially what makes it into the textbooks and what doesn't. On top of that, they also have everyone in power and influence's ear, so they get to control what is accepted as truth in the public view as a result. And that is the state of science today. And the Jason Society turns out to be the secret society that's at the head of keeping the true knowledge and technological advances from the public. They bury these stories, like the Department of Defense story, for a reason. The Jasons exist, and that proves many things, but it also implies a lot of other things. Now, Bill Cooper and other UFO researchers focus in on the alien part of the Jasons, but I found the exclusive access to knowledge and technology a lot more interesting. Plus, UFO doesn't automatically imply alien. UFO means unidentified flying object. They have access and control over all information and technology with clearance at the highest levels. The power implied in that is enormous and is also the final nail for me in the Illuminati connection as far as the Jasons go. Just think of what we already know is being suppressed and kept from us. Free energy technology, for example, the cures to diseases, the truths of our own potentials. Now, just imagine what we don't know about, and then think of what all of those things could do for humanity, and finally realize that access to it is being kept from us. That's my main takeaway from this look at the Jasons, and I'm way more concerned with that than I am aliens, or the existence of them. Not that that isn't noteworthy, not that that isn't interesting, not that I don't understand why William Cooper and why these other researchers focus on that particular part of the Jason story. I just think when people look too close in that area, they miss the bigger picture with the Jasons. Like I said, in my research for this video, I came across many people like Bill Cooper who have covered the Jasons, and all of them were slandered endlessly for chasing the UFO element of the story. But like I said, what is a UFO really? It's an unidentified flying object. And that implies or opens the door to alien life, but it doesn't prove it or mean that you're necessarily talking about that. Now, I think there are UFOs, for example, but I don't personally believe in aliens. I think that what we think of as UFOs are really just crafts that exist that are so far advanced that we can't even begin to understand them when we see them. So for me, the real story here is that admittedly, at least 65 of the top scientific minds in this country are involved in a secret society that has full access and control of technology and all information itself. Now, along the way in making this video, I became convinced that the Jasons really are the research and technology division, for lack of a better term, of the Illuminati, the lords of all information. The Jasons are the holders and controllers of all secret knowledge and are said to be part of the Order of the Quest, one of the highest degrees in the Illuminati. The research for this short video was difficult, and I will be looking more into the Jasons for myself from this point on, as I'm sure you will too. And let me know what you think of the Jasons in the comments below. What I learned making this video, most importantly, is that the Jasons exist. But are they keeping knowledge and technological advances from society? Are they part of the Illuminati, using hidden knowledge to lord over humanity? Or do you think that a secret society of the top scientific minds in the country makes perfect sense, and there is simply nothing to see here? Let me know below, and thanks for watching. Remember to like and share this video, and hit that subscribe button to follow our channel in future videos. And I'll see you next time right here on Conspiracy Theories and Chill from me on Things and Stuff. know that in 1952, President Eisenhower commissioned a. Alright, so that was the video that I made for you guys this week on the Jasons, which I found fascinating, and I actually stumbled upon them researching something else. And I'd heard about them before, like I mentioned in the video. I had heard about this group before, but I never dug any deeper than that and dug into them. And when I did, the first thing I find is this article talking about their funding being pulled. When I start looking to see if they're real, I'm like, oh my God, there really is a secret society of scientists. To me, that's the biggest part of the story. Like, that's why I focus most of the video on that. And by the way, I'm going to add the link to that video on YouTube. It's live on YouTube now if you want to just watch that video. And this is the link to it. I'm going to put it on Facebook. Everything takes a long time on the computer. By the way, I should have tagged the guy that's building the new one because I want it. Like, come on. There was the last time I checked, there were some parts that were still on back order. But dude, they've got to have come in by now. Please let them come in. Hey Josh, how was the Christmas party, man? I could have gone. We had technical difficulties. I didn't get to go live until almost 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. So, let's see. Paul says, very cool. The Jasons is a cool story. And I found it very interesting and very fascinating. But let me see who's here over on YouTube. And again, I apologize for being late. This was scheduled to go live at 8, and we're very late. So I apologize for that. But we'll still hang out and talk about everything that we covered in the video and all of that stuff. So I'm loading up YouTube right now to see who's here and say hello. We're having a problem on Facebook, because we have more shares than people here. That's happening a lot. That's happening a lot on Facebook. Facebook's getting very bad for talking about the kind of things that I talk about. It's not popular, It's not something they like being discussed, these things. They don't want you telling truth, talking about things like secret societies and stuff like that. Hold on. Is YouTube, are we having trouble with buffering? We may be having trouble. I don't know. Let me know. Is there problems? I'm showing clear on my streaming service, but that wouldn't be the first time that I've showed clear and we've had trouble. So it looks like people didn't stay very long on YouTube. But we're still going on YouTube. I just don't have any comments on YouTube. That's weird. I'm going to reboot YouTube. Nissa says, so funny that I'm in old style TV. I felt like it was appropriate because when we get the new computer, I'm going to do cooler backgrounds and things like that, and neater things. But right now I just don't have the capability for it. If I tried to do it, I would be pushing the computer too far and everything would crash. It just wouldn't even hold it up. But when the new one finally gets here, which I hope is soon, and maybe I'm getting it for Christmas. Who knows? I'm going to ask Santa. So, but it should be here anytime. It should be done anytime now. And when we get that, it's going to be able to do all that stuff. So then we won't be in the little TV. But this was the coolest thing I could come up with. I wanted it to be kind of have a nostalgic feel. So I like the little TV set. But Nissa says, Merry Christmas. IQ 45 was impeached. Now what? Well, it has to go through the Senate, and it might. And then you have President Pence. And we still have to do everything else that we already had to do. Nothing really changes. Everything stays the same until we remove the status quo. They'll just replace him with whoever's next in line, and they're just going to do what the establishment wants. Until we make real drastic change, it doesn't really matter. So maybe they do impeach him, maybe they don't. So that's where it's at. I'm sure well, I don't know if it has the majority. It's got to get a majority, right, in the Senate. I don't know that it will pass the Senate. I'm not sure. I couldn't really say. I'm not an expert on it, and honestly, I haven't been paying much attention to it. I haven't been following it much at all. The whole story of the impeachment. It's not been something that's held my attention. Looks like we are having troubles with buffering. Let me know if you're experiencing troubles with that, with buffering. Tell me about that on Facebook. And Nissa says no to Pence. No, me too. I don't like Pence. But that's what you get if you impeach Trump. It's not like it skips over Pence. You get President Pence, like Paul
Power
was saying
off.
earlier, like our top fan. I love that you gave yourself a badge. I just love bringing attention to it. But anyways, like he was saying, that's the impeachment prize. If we were to get it, it would be President Pence. What is that interference? I turned off the speaker. I'm getting some kind of interference. But are we having buffering issues? Someone tell me. I think for sure we are on YouTube. My streaming software says we're good. Senate needs a 2/3 majority, Paul says. See, I don't think we can get that. I mean, I don't care. Honestly, I, I understand why people want him impeached, but I still have everything that I want to do, no matter what if it happens or not. So it changes nothing. Everything that needs to happen still needs to happen. We still need to uproot the whole system and rebuild it from the ground up. Hey, Slace. Slace says people are watching your video. I just realized we weren't live. Oh, the video loaded up. Okay, that was supposed to happen at 9, so that just happened. Right on. You want to, well, we just played the video. I thought that might happen because I had scheduled it earlier. We were supposed to start live at 8, and I had scheduled a video earlier, and had computer problems. I had technical difficulties. I am the king, the lord of technical difficulties. But if people might be watching the video, it's 14 minutes long, so they'll be here real soon. They'll be here at 9:15. So what do you guys want to talk about? If we're not having problems, we'll keep going. This just says we're good on Facebook. So if we're good on YouTube, Slace, we'll keep trudging through. I just noticed on YouTube people were coming in and out. They were coming in and right back out. And usually I'm a little better at holding attention than that. I can usually hold someone's attention for at least a couple minutes. But we may replay the video later if there's interest and more people show up. But Paul says it's all a show, political theater, actors on a stage like WWE. For the most part, almost completely, really. They've got it all bought off and controlled, you know. I'm not into the impeachment, so I know very little about it. I don't even know what grounds they have, honestly. I was more interested when everything was coming out. I was more interested in the stuff that was uncovered on Biden than I was in the impeachment. I thought that was more interesting. But this secret society, the Jasons, um, the reason why that interests me so much, we can get into the UFO angle if you want, because they were originally started to investigate and to get all the knowledge they could to research UFOs. Well, what is a UFO? UFO is just an unidentified flying object. That implies aliens, but it doesn't mean we're talking about aliens. So they had carte blanche, these scientists. They get all access to all information and all technology. They're pretty much the only ones that hold the key to all that information. Now, like I said in the video, you want to cover or control a narrative. That's how you do it. You get all the scientists the top scientists in a secret society. And then you can guide and drive things however you'd like. Paul says the Jason's video was very interesting. First I've ever heard of it. It goes by many names. Like the video was almost titled the Jason Society, but they also are known by the Jason Group, the Jason Scholars. The only thing, like I said in the video, the only thing that's consistent is Jason. Always all caps. That's always the same. So that's why I titled the video the Jasons, and then I titled the description the Jasons, because I didn't want to split hairs, so I just cut right to the middle and just went with what was consistent in the name, and that was the Jasons themselves. But it's interesting to me because I'm like, people wonder all the time, like, well, how would you hide the moon landing? How would you do that? How would you control that? Well, if you control all these scientists, you can control a lot of things. You can control what gets researched, what doesn't, what gets looked into, and what doesn't. You know, you can do a lot of different stuff. Let's not pretend that you can't. I don't think there's any reason to act like things don't exist that do. But let's see. Slay says, keep digging. I only watched half. I was going to comment and couldn't. Oh, always keep digging. Always. You got to. You got to keep looking. What I found fascinating, though, is because I've heard them talked about before. And I was just recently researching something else, and I heard them mentioned again. So I went looking into them because I'm like, I need to find out if this group really exists. And I found that research. I should have tagged it, and I'll look for it after. But I found this article on how their funding was going to be cut from March 29th of this year. They were going to cut funding to the Jasons, and it talked all about, they didn't list their membership because they don't list their membership, but they at this point have 65 members. And it's interesting to me, you know. Now, whether it's nefarious or not, that's up to your own imaginations. Why wouldn't it be? And the hiding behind the aliens part of the whole thing gives them the ability to make everyone that looks at them seem crazy. Also, like it lets them encompass everything, and it gives them a cover story. See, it's kind of perfect. But yeah, the Jasons were pretty interesting, and it's definitely something that I'm going to go into a lot deeper. Something that wouldn't have been able to fit into a short 15-minute video. And next week's one kind of goes over the limit too. Next week we're doing Titanic Swap. We're going to get into that next week. So I remade it. I got to finish it, but I remade it, and it's almost done. I'm never going to be happy with it. That was something I decided as I was finishing up recording it that I'm always going to feel like there was something I could have put in there that I didn't. But it's as good as I could get it. And we're going to do that next week, the Titanic swap. But I need some suggestions on what to name it, so let me know what you think. Slay says like the Royals are reptilian. The reptilians is interesting, and that would be good to cover. Um, I would have to do a lot of research on it. An interesting researcher that covers the reptilians is David Icke. I like a lot of David's stuff, and I've heard him talk about the reptilians, but I would have to really dig into that to discuss it. I don't know a whole lot. Really, the only researcher that I know of that talks about the reptilian is David Icke. But I have seen other people talk about him. I just couldn't list them off the top of my head. But I have seen those theories that the royal bloodlines, and there's even been that all presidents can be traced back to the same lines, or most of them anyway. Um, I don't know how many of them or how that works out, but I know there is a theory that exists about it. There's a lot of interesting conspiracy theories, and a lot of them have a lot of truth behind them. That was the purpose of this show when I started it. I wanted to make a show where we covered conspiracies in a way that was fun and inviting and helped people open up to the truth, you know, open up their minds to new things. People that wouldn't normally pay attention to things like that or things like this. You guys sure we're not having any trouble? Because I'm getting a lot of error messages. But let me know if we're... Paul says fake as F. Everyone knows what you're saying, Paul. Everyone knows what that means. Vanessa says David Icke. Yeah, David Icke. I like listening to David Icke sometimes. There's different guys I like listening to them talk. David Icke's one of them. He's a really good speaker. He tells a really good story. But according to the settings on Facebook, we're having trouble. Slay says that's why they killed Diana. They didn't want their secret getting out. The royals about being reptilian. I find it fascinating. I need to look into it more. I've gotten to the point where I'm just a complete contrarian. I just don't feel like I know anything. I don't feel like we do. I feel like, we think we do. We think we know everything. We think we know a lot. But I don't really think we do. I think there's more questions than answers. And even the enlightened, even those that consider themselves to be the illuminated ones, I don't think they know all the answers, you know? But let me know what you think and what you want to get into, what you want to talk about, and what you think an organization like the Jasons could be used for. Let me know all that in the comments and everything like that. But I am positive we're having technical difficulties because there's only one person here on both platforms. That's very odd. So I don't know what to do. I don't know if we should try to relaunch or if... Let me leave it up to the people that are here. There's two on YouTube and one on Facebook right now. Let me know what's going on with the show and if you want me to keep going. We can get into other things. There's been some comments over on YouTube. But if it's just real choppy and all that, then we'll go ahead and wrap up, and I'll just point everybody to the video on YouTube, the Jason's video, and we can watch that. But let me know. I know there's a little bit of a delay. Nissa, I don't know what the trees mean. Nisana. Let me know if we're choppy. This just says reboot. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties.